Maximize your potential and focus on your performance. Look into your future and power up your purpose. Power people, let's change our mindset, people. Let's empower people to see all their potential when they power up and make your official. Maximize your performance and focus on your potential. Look into your future and power up your purpose.
I don't think you hit record, and that's the wrong screen.
Welcome to the Power Up Show, Maximize Your Potential, where innovation meets transformation, and you have one goal. And what's that, Cheryl?
That's to power up.
So welcome to the show, y'all. I'm your host, Eric.
And I'm Cheryl.
And we are excited to be here today with you on Inspire Magazine, DreamSpire TV, because we have an incredible guest with us today. Not only that, we're feeling in the holiday spirit. So, we're going to have a really good show full with energy and some, we're going to have this guy named Adam Sinkus. He's a process solver, virtual landlord, COO of Elevator, which is a digital marketing company. And we're going to have an opportunity to chat with him today about how he has helping drive fundamental changes in the way we communicate as leaders. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss what we have in store after the break. Welcome back to the Power Up Show, Maximize Your Potential with Eric and Cheryl. Now, look, be sure to like us on Facebook at Power Up, Maximize Your Potential, and check out our tip of the month and our Power Up posts that include some motivational tips and best practices to help you power up and maximize your potential. Now, you can also view some of our shows in the past and some of our amazing guests. And I know we have an amazing guest coming up, don't we, Cheryl?
Absolutely. All of our guests have been amazing. I'm excited because I had an opportunity to be on Adam's show. And so we always talk about relationship building, and this is just an extension of that.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right.
So I'm going to introduce Adam. Adam Sinkus. He has over 10 years of experience at a call center and BPO in training, operations, and quality, and has helped him to build successful teams. And throughout the effective leadership, he's founded on core principles for acknowledgement, cultivation, empowerment, and success. And he's helped to build teams to strive to always do better. These principles he has used to improve employee retention, training effectiveness, customer service, and employee experience, which is something all businesses are truly looking for. So one of the things that we're going to talk about also, which I think is so very, very interesting, is that he is literally changing the landscape of business, with his knowledge and helping drive fundamental changes in how we communicate as leaders.
Mm-hmm. He's changing the game.
And Eric, this is so very cool because he has this new venture, and it's called Co-work Hub Virtual. Okay. And he's found a way to get out of this Zoom cycle that everybody seems to be in and innovate this water cooler chat in a digital world. So this is truly innovation.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to have him on here. I got to hear some of this stuff because I don't know about you. Sometimes we can get Zoom fatigue, all that stuff. So got to hear his insights on this.
When you're tired of looking at those Zoom windows?
So sometimes it's all a blur. Sometimes it's like, okay.
Well, we're going to bring Adam onto the scene now.
Hey, Adam.
Hey, Adam.
Hey. Thanks so much for having me on today. Really appreciate it. Excited to talk communication and leadership. It's something that's like just so important right now, especially with Zoom fatigue, like you guys mentioned. So super excited to be here.
Absolutely. And Eric and I are excited because now this is 3 of us. This show can go on forever because we're all trainers, we're all coaches, and
yeah. Yeah, Adam, you're going to be talking right up my alley today. I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
So, Adam, I have a question. What are some of the fundamental changes that you see happening that they're necessary in the way that we communicate in this current environment as leaders?
Yeah, so I think we need to take a step back first, right, before we go forward with that question. And that is that communication in a physical office, in a physical location, has really 2 primary modes, right? So you have intentional conversation. These are things like your meetings, set up formal trainings, things like that, where you have scheduled time to go meet with somebody. And then you have all of this unintentional conversation or water cooler chat, right? You're walking down the hall and you see Joe from accounting and, hey, Joe, how's it going? And so it's totally different now with the way we communicate. I would say 99% of my communication starts with a calendar invite. And what that's done is that has changed our intentionality of communication, right? Because instead of just going and saying, hey, Cheryl, I want to just talk, spitball this idea off of you in a nonchalant, very unintentional manner to work through things. Now I have to go, hey, Cheryl, do you have 10 minutes on Thursday that we can schedule a call to, And so then I'm thinking about all the other 12 things that I need to talk to Cheryl about as well during that call, right? Because I want to make that time as impactful as possible. And so what happens is you lose the innovation that comes from just free form conversation that you have with people. And so, the fundamental change of everybody going to a Zoom call has impacted, I think, in big ways, the way we communicate with our teams, and the way we communicate even just in general, not even with our work teams, but with our family. I schedule Zoom calls with my parents so that we can get on with the kids and, and things like that, now too. And you're right, Zoom fatigue is real. It's a real thing. So that's where we sit at right now. Going forward, we need to break that barrier of intentional conversation. And so ways that I see teams doing this effectively is using tools like Slack, Teams, any of these chat tools that are, that are relevant in business, right? And the people are using those to have those unintentional conversations. However, it's different than, the vocal conversation, because you talk in chat a little bit different. It's spoken word. It's a little more formal. And so to get around that, what I've done with teams is I've spent time focusing on how do we structure our meeting so we can get some of that unintentional chat at the beginning, at the end of it. Still be effective with our time, but have that relationship building, that personal feeling, right? And so I plan 5 minutes on either end of my meetings to just ask, how's family, how's kids, how's life, what's going on, all that stuff outside of work, and being very intentional about making sure I plan that time with my team and give them a chance to talk about it as well, right? You don't want to just hard stop. Okay, we're at 5 minutes. We got to move on to business, right? It's you have to balance that out and smooth that transition over as well. So So those are two ways that I see a lot of leaders working through this. It's methods that I've used as well. But I opened up Cowork Hub Virtual about 2 months ago now, and it's really changing. Virtual workspaces are changing the way we can communicate with our teams. So it is built on a platform that is basically an office in the cloud. You literally can see a floor plan. You can see who's logged in. You can literally walk down the hall and go to their office and have a conversation with them. And so there's
that is so interesting. It is, when you think about it, and just to go back to what you were saying when you were talking about intentionality.
Yep.
Right. For us to be able to even share with leaders the importance of that, that 5 minutes either before or at the end of a meeting, where you're literally allowing people to speak and just allowing them to say, whatever it is that they need to say before you go into, okay, work mode. We've got bullets 1 through 5 that we have to accomplish before we leave this call. So I think that's so very, very important, because now it's, conversations that we have are based around, are you being empathetic?
Right.
Do you realize what's happening in their environment when they've got, another spouse probably like 2 feet over on their laptop? They've got the kids at the table doing their homework. There's just a lot going on, and that's a high stress factor.
Yeah. Well, sure. If I can just add one thing to that too, ties into both of your points, especially what Adam talked about with the intentionality of having those meaningful conversations. I think this current environment, this COVID environment, really paved the way to have that kind of empathetic mindset, because I'm just, putting my hat on from back in the day when I was, in the office, right? Even when we had meetings, right, I rarely recall, people that I've talked to really recall situations where you have a colleague or a boss saying, hey, how are you doing? What's going on? It's more like, all right, let's get down to business. Let's do, let's talk about what's going on with this, what's going on with that, what's going on with that, right? But now, with COVID and affecting so many people in this virtual work environment, and so many tasks and so many roles that people play, not just an employee or an employer, but also a mom and dad, a plumber, like all these different roles, you have to have that empathy. And I think Adam's point, he just kind of really tied it up. Here's what you can do to kind of cultivate that empathy, be more intentional about those conversations. And that's going to be the gateway to help get more work done, because more people are going to want to buy into it, saying, you know what, this person really genuinely cares about what I'm saying. All right. And it's not just about the work, it's about the people. So I think this is a phenomenal idea that you've got together, Adam.
Yeah, I want to kind of piggyback and shift that a little bit, because I think there's another piece to it too, right? And it comes from a mindset of how we manage people, right? So in an office, we tend to manage to time, right? You show up to the office at 9 a.m., you work till 6 p.m., your lunch is at 12:30. It's very, very time driven. And in an office, there's some value to that, right? Because it puts everybody in the same place at the same time. Right. When you shift to this remote space, time becomes less important. It really comes down to outcomes, right? You still have to have deadlines, but it comes down to outcomes. Am I meeting my outcomes? Am I meeting them on time? And is the work getting done in a quality, effective manner? And so as a leader, you need to think about it in that respect, because micromanaging in a remote environment just doesn't work. It will not work. It'll demotivate your team every day of the week. But if you allow your team to work in this outcome-based environment, then you can change the scope on how you have the conversations about the work that's being done. Because now, instead of saying, okay, what's going on with step A, B, C, D, E, and F, right? Now I can go, what's the status on this project? What are your roadblocks? What are your challenges? What can I help you get over and move forward with it? And so the conversation becomes much more helpful. Are we still on target to meet? Right? Mm-hmm. I don't care if you work at 8 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock at night, whatever is effective for you. You know, like Eric said, we have all these other outside influences now when we're sitting at home. So if you're struggling to get your work done, you know, while your kids are in school because you need to help support them, who cares if you work at 8 o'clock at night? Are your projects done? Are you showing up to the meetings that you need to be at? Cool, great, awesome. That's what's important here. So,
Exactly.
you know,
It's that sense of flexibility.
Yeah.
Right. It's that sense of flexibility, which I think is ultimately important. This is fabulous. We're going to come back because we got to finish this conversation because we can talk about this forever. And I definitely want to get more information out to the people about the virtual hub because I think that is just amazing.
I'm telling you, Adam's talking my language all day today. So this is like, we can go on and on, seriously.
So we are going to go to a commercial break. But listen, guys, come back because we're not done talking with Mr. Adam.
All right, welcome back to the Power Up Show. We were just talking to Adam Sinkus. He was telling us some exciting things, some very interesting things about how to leverage the remote technology for the virtual atmosphere and how to build those relationships. That's the recurring theme for all of our shows: relationships, relationships, relationships. And what Cheryl alluded to earlier, right before the break, we were kind of interested about what's going on with your new venture, the Co-work Hub Virtual. Can you tell us what this is about and what inspired you to create this online community?
Yeah, so this is an absolutely fantastic tool. So I'm gonna start with the history, and then the tool itself will start to really make sense. So pre-COVID, co-working spaces have been on the rise for about 5 years or so, 6 years. And really have become a main hub for people like consultants and coaches and salespeople and remote teams as an opportunity to have an office space where they can meet clients, where they can get their work done, where they can have that sense of community to talk to other people in similar roles as well. And so when COVID hit, obviously all of these places shut down, right? And so they, all these consultants now are sitting at home. And some of the feedback I got from consultants that I know is that, you know, I've lost some of my pipeline of just how do I get ideas flowing? Because let's be honest, you know, sometimes you get into that funk. And so I had an opportunity to work with a company earlier this year called Walkabout Workplace, and they have an absolutely fantastic platform, office platform. But I was looking at it going, this is really geared for teams that have 10, 20, 30 people or, you know, or more on them as a great way to build that sense of community and maintain culture within your workplace. But how can we leverage that in a way that we can give that community and culture back to all of those solopreneurs, all those individuals that were in all these co-working spaces? And that's where I came up with the idea of, what if we built a virtual office, a space where they could come in and work every day, just like they would go to a co-working space. However, they're doing it from the comfort of their own living room, their own personal office, heck, the beach in Haiti, if they really want to. You know, and so what's cool about it is it's not just like a Zoom window, right? You don't just have this video call in one place. You come in and you have your own branded office. You have access to conference rooms, which look different than your office. So you get this sense of place. When I go to a conference room, it feels like I'm going to a conference room. You have a break area, an area that's, just meant for idle chit chat, to communicate with people, to build that sense of community. But it also gives you the Zoom tools. It also gives you the functionality of, I can have office hours now, right? I log in the morning, I go to my office, and I leave it open. I can have my clients knock on my door and come in and join me, if, assuming I have time at that point, just like if I had a physical office that they were coming to visit me in. So it gives that sense of place. But what I love is, if I don't have a client, or if I'm just stuck on something, I can look and see who else is in the space as well. I can communicate with them via chat, or I can, walk down the hall and actually go into their office and have a conversation with them through video. And so it does not, it does not totally take away, the video aspect of the world, right? I think that's just part of the world we live in now. But what it does is it brings back the opportunity to have that water cooler chat with people. It brings back the ability to, on the fly, innovate better ways to do things.
I love it. I love that concept. It's kind of like going into like this digital zone, this new world of digital where, you're there, but everybody else is there. But literally, like you said, you're in your own place. You could be in your pajama bottoms, You could still do the Zoom thing, but you would have, you literally would be surrounded by other people. And oftentimes when you're a solopreneur, right, you need that. You kind of need that synergy, and that allows you to be able to have that.
It also sounds like it replaces those, because I remember, going to the coffee shop and being able to talk to some of my colleagues about what's going on, and we would come up with all these different types of ideas, and it sounds like it's a perfect replacement, for the digital world, to have that kind of those impromptu kind of water cooler talks that that Adam was just talking about.
Yeah. So Adam, how does a person have access to one of these virtual offices? What do they do if they want to inquire about it, if they want to partake in it? What do they do?
Yeah, certainly. So the best thing to do is hit up my website, coworkhubvirtual.com. From there's a little email form you can fill out, and we can set up a tour of the space so you can see what you're getting, and all the great features of it, and how it works. There's also a video tutorial of how the platform works. You can actually see a demo of the platform and all kinds of great information on the site as well. You can reach me on LinkedIn, Facebook, just Google search Cowork Hub Virtual. And you will find many ways to get hold of me, or you can, or just at Adam Sinkus and pretty much any of the major social platforms as well. So, cost-wise, this is like super, super, super affordable for your business. Less than $200 for the year, you get your own virtual office. And I can tell you from a client experience, it is a game changer. They come into your office, they get greeted by a virtual receptionist. They get called into your office. It is super, super cool. All of my clients have been super impressed every time we hop on the platform. They're like, "This is so cool." So I get to nerd out every time somebody says that a little bit. So
I was on the platform. I loved it. I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is fabulous."
Yeah, I have to link up with you, Adam, because I definitely want to check this out. This sounds really interesting. I'm very excited about it.
Awesome.
Adam, thank you so much for coming on and sharing. I mean, I think this is innovative. This is transformational. This is everything that we talk about here on Power Up. So we appreciate you doing that. And because we never let anyone leave without Here it comes, Barry. We never let anyone leave without playing our Power Up game. So here I have in my hands here, I have a deck of cards, and you, my friend, from all the way in your virtual office, you're going to pick one.
All right.
I'm going to ask you the question that's on the card.
All right, so
You
let's
go
go.
like that. We got to make it look like you're really picking, Adam. Play with me.
All right. All right. Yep, that looks
one.
good.
There it
That one.
is. It's that one. And your question is, what or who are you grateful for?
I am honestly, and this is going to sound really weird because it's been such a crazy year, but I am grateful for 2020. And I'm going to tell you why, because 2020 was the year it forced me, it really was the first year that it's truly forced me to think outside of the box and become creative in everything that I'm doing and find different and new ways to approach everything. And, you know, innovation is exciting. And I've done some really innovative things this year. And so I'm grateful for 2020 because it's pushed me into spaces that I couldn't even have imagined I would be in.
That is so well said. Oh my
Absolutely.
gosh, that's just so well said. Just because, I mean, you know how many times people say, "Oh, I can't wait for 2021 to begin. I can't wait for 2020 to be over." You know, they hit the wall. But I mean, you know, you think about what, you know, how it's forced you to step outside of your comfort zone and really, really, you know, be creative. Just like you said, that's so well said, man.
Well, Adam, thank you so much for joining us here today on Power Up. And guys, you definitely have to go check Adam out. He also has a podcast called The Winning Tactics. So you definitely can check him out on his podcast. And definitely, you got to take a tour of this virtual office. I'm telling you, I did. It's amazing. And I'll probably ended up getting one because it's just very cool. That's all I can say. It's very cool. And Eric, yours will be right next door to mine.
Can't wait. That's going to be awesome. We're going to do the Power Up show on that one.
Well, Adam, my friend, you have an amazing day. And thank you so much.
Appreciate it so much. Thanks for having me on today.
Wow. Where does the time go?
I'm telling you, I could have talked to him for a lot longer. I mean, he has some really interesting concepts. I share a lot of interesting things that he was talking about. But I mean, you know, he's so creative and innovative, you know, with the virtual platforms and how to manage those relationships in a virtual work environment. I mean, that's key right now. I mean, there's so many people right now that are definitely in need of managing, you know, certain relationships, you know, at work. And how do you do that? How do you motivate your people? How do you motivate people to come up with ideas or to get work done? This is it. He just gave me the blueprint for it.
Absolutely. And we have to do more of that because 2021, we're still going to need that. I think, you know, the shift that has happened is going to continue just because companies have found that, you know, if you can still be productive and allow them that flexibility that you hesitated about before, you now have the ability to go, you know what, this was not a bad idea. I mean, the companies save money, you know, people can still take care of their personal stuff and they've integrated, you know, life work. And so I think this is something that's going to be, it's going to continue. And so, you know, innovative ideas like a virtual office, you know, it just makes you, it just levels up. It levels you up and it powers you up. So
yeah, I mean,
that we had him on.
It's the place where innovation meets transformation. We heard a great innovative idea that I think is gonna, you know, get a lot of people interested and a lot of people contacting him for that.
Absolutely.
But this was another great show. It's like every week, it's like week after week, another great show. And you know, I want to thank everyone, you know, for tuning in. Make sure that you follow us on social media, on Facebook, YouTube, DreamSpire TV, MSpire Magazine. Tune in every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. And if you're interested in placing an advertisement on the show, you can contact us at powerupshowtv@gmail.com. Visit mspire.com for other interviews. Join MSpire Facebook group. Subscribe to DreamSpire TV on YouTube. Follow us on Power Up, Maximize Your Potential, Facebook, and leave us a comment or a question. What are you interested in hearing us talk about for our next show? Definitely would love your input on that. And that's about it. Anything you had to share before we close?
I want an office. I want a virtual office. That's how I'm going to power up because that's my one goal is to get a virtual office.
That's
So
right.
thank you guys so much. Oh my gosh, happy holidays.
Yes.
Happy holidays, as this is that time. So be
Yep.
festive, be merry, and be
Be
grateful.
safe and be safe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So take care, Eric. I will see you later.
Looking forward to it. We'll see you all.